I just had the craziest dream. How do I even start? You know what? I'll just tell you this dream from the start. Alright, so I'm a wizard, I work with the Ministry of Magic, and I was curating a new section of a museum featuring Harry Potter himself. You know, that crazy wizard that saved us all from Voldemort. I was able to procure half the wand of the Elder's Wand. The other half the Ministry of Magic was protecting, and I had to label my half as if it's a prop or fake because no one wanted anyone to know it was real. But they figured hiding it in plain sight would be a good idea. I found the Death Stone, the one that Harry dropped in the Forest that he never told anyone about, you know. And I got a copy of the Invisibility Cloak. No one knows where it's at. Harry has it. And then I also had all the Horcruxes, the broken ones, obviously, of Voldemort. The last thing I had was interesting. I had a jar of the Ash of Voldemort. So, you know, during the last battle when Harry beat him, and he kind of just dissolved, I was able to get a jar of that. Crazy. You know, I was trying to figure out, how can I make this exhibit exciting and shocking and get people to come? And I had this crazy idea. To take the Ash of Voldemort, use a spell, compress it down into a charcoal, and then use that charcoal to draw a picture of Voldemort himself. His Ash, a picture of him, then dip it in the potion that you used to make images, semi-motion, semi-alive, to where they kind of live in the frame. So that's what I did. I drew it all together, dipped it in the potion, got it up on the canvas to dry, and he started moving, and it's like, there we go, we got Voldemort captured in a frame from his own ashes. I was excited. This was going to be the best exhibit I've ever put together. I turned around to put all the stuff away, and I heard tearing. I looked behind me, and Voldemort literally was tearing himself off the canvas. And not only that was he tearing himself away, he's becoming to full size. Granted, he's only a shadow. It's just charcoal, by the way. But it freaked me out. I was like, what is going on here? I didn't know that they could do that. This is new. And then he saw the heft of the Elder's Wand, and he grabs it, but it's only half of it. I was like, oh, he can't do anything with that. But then he used his finger. With his charcoaly finger, he drew out the rest of the Elder Wand, and all of a sudden it started working. I flipped. I didn't know what to do, so I dissipated away. I just left. I was like, okay, I'll figure it out, and then I'll go back. But then he was there. So I dissipated again. He was there again. Dissipated again. He was there again. And so then I pull out my own wand, and I start dueling him, trying to protect myself, trying to figure out what is going on. And he's casting spells. I can't hear what spells he's saying because he's just a shadow, but he's casting them nonetheless. They're not too powerful, thank goodness, because it's only half of a wand. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? So I dissipate again, because it takes him a few seconds every time for him to pop in. And so I'm starting to think, okay, how did Voldemort survive in the past when he wasn't all there? I was like, oh, when did that happen? When did that happen? That's right, Quirrell. He was on the back of his head. And he wasn't surviving on his own. He was using someone else to connect him to the world. It's like, okay. So he's surviving off of someone else. He's feeding off someone else. Okay, who's he feeding off? What energy is he feeding off? Because the potion I dipped him in wouldn't be enough. So I'm trying to think, and then he pops back in, and it's like, okay, I need to figure this out. And then I notice a faint trail of charcoal dust in the air going to my art jacket, where I had a smudge of it on my art jacket. I was like, oh my goodness, he's feeding off of me. So I dissipate one more time, tear my jacket off, throw it into the air, and dissolve it right then and there with just a blast from my wand. He shows up, and then he disappears. I was like, okay, where did he go? So I'm sitting there trying to think, okay, catching my breath. Where could he have gone? What could he be doing right now? And I was like, okay, let's think. Then it's like, what's the only other thing he's connected to? Well, the canvas. That's what I drew him on. It's like, okay, so he's connected to the canvas, maybe the potion, but that's not going to last long. That's not enough for him to live off of. And it's like, okay, so he's going to want to look for something else to live off of. And all of a sudden my brain clicked. It's like, where's his canvas? It's back in the studio where I'm getting everything collected for the exhibit. And there's one other thing that was there. The Death Stone. I was like, what if he got his hands on that? What if he used it to call a piece, once again, just a shadow, but a piece of one of his Horcruxes, just a piece of his soul? If he did that, that might be enough for him to stick around. I didn't want to find out. So I dissipate right back to the studio, and there he was, reaching for the Death Stone. And I flip. So I literally lunge myself at this shadow of Voldemort and tackle him to the ground, knocking the Death Stone away from him. And then I'm trying to think, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I see the canvas that he was attached to. I grab it and I throw it at him like a frisbee, and he hits him head on. And he basically fell into it. And he was gone. And so, but I threw the thing so hard that it went and hit up against the wall. And then he was starting to tear himself away again. He's like, okay, I need to think. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? But the crazy thing just happened. I threw it so hard that it hit the wall, that the shelf above it kind of broke. On that shelf I had just a bunch of Muggle soaps. And it spilled onto his canvas, smearing his image and disrupting the potion. And so he dissolved back to the page and stopped existing. And that's when I woke up. Yeah, crazy dream. Really crazy dream. Anyway, if you liked it, please like, subscribe, if you'd like to hear more. And next time I have a crazy dream, you'll hear it from me. Sleep tight. And the last thing I had was something peculiar. I can't talk today.